Alright everyone, today I'm going to be making some drop biscuits. And these are just like regular biscuits, but the only difference is it's a lot easier. It's geared more towards beginner. You're not going to need to do any kneading or rolling or cutting. And so it makes it much easier and you're still going to get that great fluffy biscuit. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to start out with our dry ingredients in a big bowl. We'll start out with our flour, our baking powder, baking soda, our salt, and sugar. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and mix these dry ingredients up real quick, not too much. Alright, that's good enough. And so what I have here, I have my buttermilk, but what I've done is before I actually set everything up, I put this in the freezer for 10 minutes. You don't want it to freeze, but you want it really cold. And so make sure that's probably the first thing you need to do is get that buttermilk chilled. The second thing I did was I melted butter, got it melted, and I left it out so that it gets to room temperature. We don't want to mix this with the chilled buttermilk while it's still hot. We want it room temperature. The reason why we're doing this is it makes it a lot easier rather than cutting cubes of butter, rolling, kneading, doing all that stuff in the traditional buttermilk biscuit. This kind of gets you the same thing. And so when we mix this, we're going to go ahead and throw that in. What you're going to see is once we give it a light mix, it's going to make these little balls and globules in there. And you can actually see it already in there. And that's exactly what we want to see. And what this does is once we mix it in with the dry ingredients, it's going to give little balls of butter that are in the middle. And once we bake it, it's going to help with making it fluffy. And it's going to give it that perfect texture. So we're going to go ahead and mix in our buttermilk and butter mixture here. And what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and mix this up. You don't want to over mix it. All you want to do is make sure that all the ingredients are incorporated and everything's kind of pulled together. Alright, so it looks like it's pulled all the flour off the sides and the bottom. And if you see that it's not pulling all the flour off, you can add just a little bit of buttermilk just in case you need a little bit more liquid. Like I said, you don't want to over mix it. It looks like it's pulled everything off. So what I'm going to do now is I've already preset the oven to 425 degrees, so that's hot. I got my baking sheet with parchment paper. And the way that I do it, I get a 1/4 cup measuring cup. It just makes it easier for me. And this is where the drop part comes in. So I get a 1/4 cup and I just drop that right on the parchment paper. It's that easy. All right, so I got 6 on this baking sheet. I still got enough left over for probably another 2 or 3. I'll get another baking sheet in a little bit. But give them a little space. I got my 6 on here and I'm going to drop them in the oven at 425 for about 15 minutes. You want to start watching it at about 10-12 minutes depending on your oven. You want a nice golden brown on top and you want to make sure that the bottom doesn't burn too much. You want a little bit crispy on the bottom but not too much. So I'll go ahead and drop it in the oven and I'll be back soon. Alright, I just pulled them out of the oven. These things smell amazing. You could see they look fantastic. It's so much easier than cutting it. Yeah, they're not the perfect circle, but so what? They're fantastic. There was a good rise. And what I'm going to do now is while they're still warm, I still have a little extra melted butter and I'm going to brush some on the top. And that's going to give it a little bit more flavor. All right, I can't wait. They're still hot. And I don't care. I'm going to try the first one. Just be careful. Ooh, look at that. Nice golden brown, dark on the bottom, but it's got a nice light brown on the top. And I'm going to try it by itself before I throw some more butter and jam on there. This is perfect. It cooked all the way through. It's so light and fluffy. You're going to love them. With anything. Dinner, breakfast. I could eat these things all day. So I'm going to throw a little bit more butter on there. A little strawberry jam. You gotta try these biscuits. Enjoy.